DeVincent McFarlane, aka Versace Vince. Now I'm just DeVincent McFarlane again. And now I am Versace Vince again. Look how that works. Welcome to the channel. Thank you guys again for your support. So as you guys may or may not know, I don't think the live stream was uploaded. I think due to a copyright, some bullshit copyright infringement because I was playing a song, or something. So not sure if that video is going to be allowed or not. But either way, we have filed the first of more lawsuits to come against the city of Wayne. We filed the very first one today in regards to the fire pit saga. We filed a lawsuit for March 28, 2024, when the fire department broke into my house without a warrant to enforce a law that doesn't exist a month after I moved into Wayne, Michigan. Actually, 28 days exactly. So 4 weeks had passed since I had lived in the city of Wayne, and the fire department decided to break in my house because of a smoldering log, right? So they can, never. We don't ever give in, Taz Media. We don't ever give in to tyrants. We don't settle with tyrants. We don't play nice with tyrants. We give tyrants what they give us, which is shit, right? Which is jail food and, complete lack of medical care. And they enforce laws that don't exist against the most vulnerable population groups, disabled veterans. And so it's only right that they have to explain their obviously unconstitutional antics in a real court, not a kangaroo court, not a local district court, but a U.S. district court, and beyond if necessary, right? We're fully prepared to take this to the Michigan Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court, fully intend to if necessary, and we're here to set the record straight, right? And we're here to, get vindication, right, for myself and my family and all of those who have been, clearly traumatized by these warrantless invasions of my property, right? So the first of many lawsuits to come, and the first dose of accountability finally served over the fire pit. And like I said, we're just getting started, guys. All we do is hold tyrants accountable around here. And when tyrants step out of line, well, we got to reel them back in, right? And we got to either remind them who they work for at the very least, or preferably fire them and, vote them out of office and nullify their job and cut the budget and basically, allow taxpayers to get some relief, right? Some much needed relief. Lower property taxes and lower taxes in general, business taxes, etc. The city of Wayne should have a surplus of money. It's just for the simple fact that there's multiple Ford factories here, and it takes up a sizable percentage of the city of Wayne's land mass. And Ford Motor Company's got billions of dollars, right? So they can afford to pay a little bit in taxes, and clearly they're not, or the money's being squandered, which obviously it is. But obviously they're not paying enough, or they probably are paying enough. And certainly these businesses like these dispensaries on Michigan Avenue, they certainly make enough money. But the city of Wayne, like I said, when you have a government of parasites, when you have a government of tyrants and authoritarians and lawbreakers and people that, just think they can do whatever they want because, they just so happen to scam their way into a position, right? They either created a fake job for their friends, or, they ran for office when there was no challenger, right? So essentially they were gifted the position. And Christopher Metz 971, how you doing? How you doing, Christopher? Welcome. Welcome. What part of the world are you from? I'm from the shithole atomic waste dump, Michigan, Wayne, Michigan. Right in the middle of Wayne County, and boy, it's never been as corrupt as it is now. But like I said, we're going to continue to fight the good fight and bring accountability to tyrants. Oh, Ohio, well, welcome. Indianapolis AFA sent me. John Speedway too. How you doing from Indianapolis? So we have Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana in the house. Yeah, I mean, as you guys know, the entire upper Midwest, the entire Great Lakes region needs a complete and total revamp. There's just too much lawlessness, too many civil rights violations, constitutional rights violations. And of course, those are the forefront, right? It's ironic when you read the city of Wayne's, mission statement, right? Their police mission statement. Here, I'll read it to you guys real quick, so that way you guys can, see. So the mission of the Wayne Police Department is to make an impact on crime, to nurture an environment of well-being, and together with the citizens of Wayne, work towards the development and growth of our community. We resolve to be progressive in our methods and are committed to the principles of community policing. We will aggressively investigate crime, actively seek those responsible, and vigilantly pursue their prosecution. Wow. We will be proactive in our efforts, professional in our demeanor, and always being conscious not to infringe on the rights guaranteed to all citizens by the constitutions of the United States and state of Michigan. We will adhere to the concept that justice is blind and therefore will apply the law without bias to age, race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, or ethnic origin. We will always remember that we are the guardians of our community and that through an alliance with the citizens of Wayne, we can assure a high quality of life. So as you can see, they reference, we will not infringe on the rights guaranteed to all citizens by the constitutions of the United States and the state of Michigan. Well, isn't that something? Yeah, please hit the like, everybody. I would greatly appreciate it. So that's an interesting mission statement. And then to watch the city of Wayne repeatedly over and over and over. Yeah, well, they forced me. So here's a little bit of background, B. Harrison. So I had already served the maximum sentence, which was 90 days. I had actually overserved the sentence, and despite overserving the sentence, the court and the city of Wayne were both going to keep me in jail for another 2 months, right, until a trial, right? And, that's obviously illegal and cruel and unusual punishment and really just disgusting behavior. And, the city of Wayne was asking for me to be in jail, incarcerated for 2 additional months past the maximum sentence possible, which was 90 days. Yeah, so I had to take a plea, right? There was no other option. It was either, basically serve the sentence twice or take a no contest and plead no contest to disorderly conduct, which you can't be disorderly on private property. But apparently the city of Wayne didn't know that or care to know that. But yeah, you can't be disorderly on private property. And so that's not even a valid plea to begin with. And of course, I've already filed to withdraw the plea because the plea was not imposed lawfully. You can't initiate a plea without video discovery, which the city of Wayne had up till that point never provided any. And that was acknowledged on the record. Yeah, well, according to the police, you can be disorderly anywhere. Well, that's not true. That's simply not true, at least in the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan requires a public element. And you can't be disorderly on private property. And so that's not a valid plea, but it's not appropriate anyways to ask for a plea or to accept a plea after the maximum sentence has been imposed. That's like basically a form of double jeopardy, right? When you're, and then to impose probation on top of the plea, even though you've already served the maximum sentence again, well, that is by definition coercion and it cannot be, enforceable, right? And so that the court clearly erred in imposing probation, and they should have struck sanctions on the city because, like I said, they never provided video discovery. They had 5 months to do so, and they still haven't. They've provided bits and pieces, but they have not provided what was ordered by the 35th District Court, James Plakus, which was to provide any requested video discovery or any requested discovery period. So that includes search warrants, affidavits, dispatch logs, internal communication, right? and of course, all of the video discovery, which we still don't have July 5th, right? So that order was not abide by, and despite the fact that that order was not, you know, that order was not adhered to, and so, you know, it's not a valid plea, and it's certainly not a valid sentence. So, you know, once you exhaust the guidelines, the court has no jurisdiction to impose any more sentencing, and they certainly don't have any jurisdiction to continue to impose, you know, confinement without bond, right, once you serve the maximum sentence. But then again, there can be no plea bargain because the maximum sentence is already served. And so the only step that would be appropriate would be to release me and to wait for a jury trial or a trial, right? Unless the courts, of course, can demonstrate beyond any reasonable doubt that I'm a danger to myself or others, which I'm clearly not. And so, you know, yeah, but even despite that, you know, jail for someone who's, as they're trying to portray me as mentally ill, once you serve the maximum sentence, right, then it's completely inappropriate. And, you know, obviously, I spent time in jail. I chose to sit in jail because I didn't want to do probation. And then they, you know, coerced me into taking probation. 18 months of probation, no early release, mind you. So a continued infringement and deprivation of my rights, right? A continued infringement upon my rights, my civil liberties, and a deprivation of my civil liberties on top of it. So, you know, we got the city of Wayne's response, their motion. And let me just say, that's not very coherent argument. It's not very well thought out. And we're going to be responding to that verbal diarrhea, or that written diarrhea, rather, this evening. We're going to be responding. And we're going to be holding... Are you aware of 18 USC 241 and 242? No, but I am now. Let me take a screenshot of that, what you're saying. Let's look at some comments here. Yeah, so I wasn't convicted of anything, for certainly, and there was, again, no probable cause, because when you're enforcing laws that don't exist, well, then by logic, you know, you can't interfere with the enforcement of a law that doesn't exist, because you know, law enforcement coming onto your property without a warrant and without an emergency situation to enforce a policy or a guideline, well, that's not lawful, right? That's not a lawful presence. That's not a lawful enforcement. So, you know, it's not that hard to logically understand it, but I guess when you went to Wayne Memorial High School and you're an illiterate retard, I guess it's just too much for you to comprehend. So, obviously, there aren't any illiterate retards here on this channel. Obviously, everybody here is well aware of what the city of Wayne's doing. But, you know, like I said, they like to play dumb and pretend and point the finger at each other and go, oh, I didn't do it. It's over my head, right? You're talking to the city manager, the person who runs the city of Wayne, who's the top official of the city of Wayne, the highest paid. And she's out on the record saying, well, it's over my head, Mr. McFarland. And then, of course, my response to that is, right. 2 thumbs up. We'll see you in civil court, Diane Webb. We'll see you in court. You'll be subpoenaed to court, and we'll be cross-examining you, and you can explain to the court what you mean by it's over your head. So you're the top public official. You run the city of Wayne, but you don't know what's going on, even though you all attend the same city council meetings and you work out of the same building. And you're all with, you know, any office is within, you know, walking distance of each other. And, you know, we're talking about a town with a few square miles of land and, you know, a shrinking population, right? A post-industrial shrinking population, but yet somehow nobody knows nothing. It's amazing. Well, we're going to figure some shit out. We're going to be demanding some discovery, and we're going to be getting the federal courts involved. We filed a lawsuit today. Lawsuit number, again, let me pull up the lawsuit number so you guys can check it out. This lawsuit number is U.S. District Court lawsuit number 526-CCS-10011. I think it might be CV, actually. Let me look on my, here, I'll get you the copy of it so you guys can see it firsthand. 1 second here. So here's the receipt. And lawsuit number 5-26-CV-10011. Here you go, guys. There's the lawsuit number, docket number right there. DeVincent A. McFarland versus City of Wayne. Civil action number 526-CV 10011. Yeah, of course they do what they want to do anyways, B. Harrison, but that's what we have checks and balances for. That's why we have real court, non-kangaroo court, and we have an actual, federal court that's going to uphold the federal laws. And, we're going to, like I said, start getting some vindication for this. Wasn't it just like a civil thing it wasn't even something criminal? Well, yeah, I mean, there is no criminal because there's no ordinance to violate. So the only civil, remedy would be whoever complained, right? Whoever was making the non-emergency complaints or the emergency complaints, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that would be the only remedy. It was whoever I allegedly, violated somebody's rights or whatever. Well, then that person, whoever called and complained, Dennis Danielson, who lives at the corner of Glenwood and Laurenwood. Well, yeah, Dennis Danielson, the 80-year-old Gavy veteran, he could have filed a lawsuit, a personal lawsuit against me, and, he would have had to have proven, concrete, objective damages and all that, which, of course, a temporary fire pit, burning some cottonwood trees, obviously isn't going to adversely impact someone's house, or health rather, especially 750 feet away, which is approximately how far away that fire pit is to Dennis Danielson's property line. So 4 houses down, so he's not considered a neighbor, and he's just considered some guy who's in the community. And of course, he lives in the opposite direction of where the wind blows, right? The wind blows northeast, and this guy lives southwest of me. So it's kind of a strange ordeal. But yeah, that would have been the only appropriate action. The city of Wayne can do nothing, could have done nothing. But I guess Dennis Danielson, who lives at the corner of Glenwood Road and Laurenwood, he, the guy who made the complaints, and we know he made the complaints because we FOIA'd the information from the city of Dearborn, their police department. So we have the recording. It's been posted, one of my first videos. So we have proof that Dennis Danielson was one of the, what was the main complainant, which of course, like I said, he would have had to have filed a lawsuit in U.S. District Court and proven damages. But I guess the city of Wayne, they took it upon themselves to, enforce laws that don't exist against me on his behalf. So, we're likely going to be suing Mr. Dennis Danielson too, because he was the one who made the false complaints and didn't have any actual, objective evidence of what he was alleging, right? And of course, what he alleged that I did was not a violation of any law, codified law, right? So therefore, the city has absolutely zero jurisdiction to enforce laws that don't exist, but then to take it upon themselves to turn what would be just, exactly, a civil matter and turn it into a criminal proceeding, right? That's called ultra vires, right? Where you're acting outside of your jurisdiction, right? And so, like I said, the city of Wayne decided to, take it upon themselves because, they had such animus towards me because of my Facebook videos, right? They all know who I am, even though I've never actually interacted with any of these police officers prior to May 9th, right? I've never interacted with any of these police officers, certainly not in any sort of negative way. The only thing that I did was talk shit on Facebook, was shit post on Facebook, or, not shit post. Some of it was shit posting, a lot of it wasn't. It was my opinion, and I was exercising my First Amendment right. And then, of course, after doing that in the city of Wayne and criticizing the wrong people, well, then you just, all the critics of Wayne find themselves either in lawsuits or in a jail cell. Anthony Miller, Mark Blackwell, Christopher Sanders, myself, DeVincent, Alan Leland, McFarland Sr., and, of course, John Zook Jr., he paid the ultimate price for crossing the city of Wayne or what have you. So, yeah, it's very interesting stuff, guys. Hi from Europe. How you doing? What part of Europe are you from? Sirpine, George? It seems like the town you live in kind of goes by their own rules. Well, yeah, I mean, they make up rules on the fly, and it's rule by committee. There's no executive leader in Wayne. The city manager is supposed to be the executive leader, but then she'll say it's over her head. So there's no men in charge, right? There's certainly no men. There are no actual real leaders. We just have a city manager who just plays stupid and says, oh, well, it's over my head, right? And just pretends to be dumb. Her name's Diane Webb. She was the replacement for Lisa Nocerini. Lisa Nocerini was the former city manager, but she got shit canned after the Mark Blackwell versus Lisa Nocerini case in 2022. She got shit bagged, or shit canned rather. And then they hired Diane Webb, who, like I said, she looks like she smelled a fart permanently. And she's just a disingenuous piece of shit, right? Just like the rest of them. They're all disingenuous, and they all, kind of have their script that they stick to. And like I said, they believe that they're masters in plausible deniability and ambiguous void for vagueness language and terms, but they're not as smart as they think they are. They're simply just not as smart as they think they are. Are you aware of 18 USC 241 and 242? No, but I'm going to look it up. Deprivation of rights under color of law. I'll have to look that up. It's kind of like they're punishing you twice. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. As you guys know, probation is imposed in lieu of, confinement, right? Like, that's the whole point of probation is like, instead of sentencing somebody to jail, they give you probation, right? It's not to be used as a tool to punish somebody, especially after they've already served the maximum sentence, right? So once you serve the maximum sentence allowable, well, then there's no point of the probation other than as a punitive punishment, right? That's all that this whole case has been. It's just been the process is the punishment, and it's just been a punitive punishment, pre-trial punitive punishment, because, like I said, the city of Wayne doesn't have any facts or arguments as to what they did. They know what they did is completely fucked up and uncalled for and illegal as fuck. But of course, they would never admit that. They'd rather spend hundreds of thousands of dollars of the city of Wayne taxpayers' money trying to defend their undefendable actions, rather than to just have a conference with me and say, hey, yeah, we clearly violated your rights. You were clearly wronged and harmed by our policy, custom, or tradition. And instead of going through a 1983 Monell, we're just gonna pay you just compensation for your injuries. Instead of doing that, the city of Wayne would rather waste hundreds of thousands of dollars, giving it to GMH Law down in Troy, Michigan, giving it to Carolyn Miller and Michael Bosnick, right, the two contracted city attorneys, and the other attorneys that they have out of Farmington Hills, or Farmington rather. Yeah, they'd rather steal your tax dollars and defend the undefendable instead of doing what's right, because that's, like I said, the city of Wayne is run by pieces of shit. It always has been, as far as I can tell, definitely in the last 10 years. And it's only getting worse and worse and worse, right? And so the only logical solution to this problem is, I'm running for mayor 2028, DeVenson McFarland. My wife, Louisa Baez, she's running for councilwoman. And we have three other individuals rather, that are also going to be running for council. But we don't want to announce their names yet, just out of respect, because we don't want, those people to be harassed and intimidated like, my wife and I have. But rest assured, there is going to be change coming and accountability. Our objective is to completely clean house and to give the power back to the people, right? To repeal at least, half of the city charter needs to be repealed outright. A good percentage of it. I'm not going to give an exact number. It might be below 50, it might be below or above 50%. But a lot of the city charter must be repealed and redacted and deemed to be void for vagueness. And, then we'll start working on the budget and slashing the budget and, actually having a common sense approach to this place. Basically, we take care of the infrastructure and that's it. Fire department, completely unnecessary, complete drain on the taxpayer. And the police department can be about half the size as it is right now, if it's even needed, because honestly, we could contract all of this work out to the Michigan State Police for the police department services. And for the fire department, we can contract that out to the city of Westland. So really, and honestly, more likely too, we can contract out the Department of Public Works as well. But I'm not willing to go that far yet. Maybe they can be salvaged and saved. But the city of Wayne fire department, police department, and I'd say the building and engineering office, that really could be nullified too, because none of their permits, like their inspectors aren't qualified to give an inspection, as you saw with my April 2024 deck inspection, where Inspector Brandon Gregory, didn't even bother to, I think his name's Brandon, but Inspector Gregory down at the City of Wayne Building and Engineering Office, he didn't even inspect my ledger board on my deck. And thank God that I went behind him and inspected it myself, and then had a PhD structural engineer come out, because otherwise my deck would have collapsed, because the city of Wayne is run by incompetent retards who don't, train their employees. And so if they're not going to train their employees, and they're going to double down and try to ratify clearly unconstitutional and incompetent behavior and actions, well, then the city of Wayne just doesn't need to exist, right? It's just that simple. And, the money can be saved. The taxpayers can save thousands of dollars a year, and they can better utilize their money than the dumbasses in the city of Wayne can. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, some good people or some decent people that are just trying to make a living and do a good job are going to lose their jobs. But, hey, that's what happens, right? When leadership at the top, it's really simple, right? Either we just get rid of the whole thing, because I don't have any confidence that the same type of actions aren't just going to reoccur. Like if we get in and we clean house, and then, we get things right, I don't believe things are going to stay right, right? I just think there's too many parasites in Wayne. There's too many bad actors. There's too many people that don't put people first. And really, they're, like I said, they're spineless, worthless cucks. And they're not real leaders, right? And they don't have any vision, and they're just a bunch of fucking bumbling idiots, a bunch of fat fucks, a lot of them, white trash, and, I don't see a point. I just don't see a point in continuing to, play the same song and dance, right? It just kind of doesn't, yeah, and conspiracy against rights. Yeah, well, I announced that in my first video when they arraigned me, right? It is absolutely a conspiracy to violate civil rights. There are local state variants of 18 USC 241 and 242. Federal charges 18 USC deprivations of rights under color of law. Chat with Josh about it. Oh, absolutely, I certainly will. List both local and federal counts in a 42 USC 1985 and 1985 suit. Sorry, 1983 and 1985. Maybe get Long Island Audit or Bolt the Bolt Action News Group a call. Yeah, I'll have to do that. I will definitely have to do that. Let me screenshot that real quick. No, I mean, it is criminal, though. I mean, if you're intentionally abusing the legal process against your political opponents, right? I mean, what do you call that, right? Political opponent or not, a disabled veteran, a private citizen, you're abusing the legal process against a disabled veteran and a private citizen, enforcing laws that don't exist without a warrant on their private property. I mean, that's beyond a 4th and 14th Amendment violation. That's getting into, deprivation of rights. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, ultra varies, yeah, without standing. Right, well, there's no jurisdiction, right? A local district court can't impose sentencing beyond the guidelines, right? The guidelines are the guidelines, and once you exhaust the guidelines, well, the court has to, the court can't just keep imposing sentencing and punishment against you, right? So, I mean, the court clearly erred in that logic, right? But they've done this continuously, right? Like I said, the court and the prosecution have been working in lockstep. And, there's a reason why they don't want to release those transcripts. They want to delay it and delay it and delay it because they don't want an appeal. Clearly, they don't want an appeal. And, they don't want me to have the right to appeal it, right? That's why they keep on demanding I pay hundreds, thousands of dollars, right, for these remaining transcripts. I've already paid them thousands of dollars, and they want thousands more. And then I said, no, wait a minute. These are supposed to be free. I've already been declared indigent, and I can't afford to pay hundreds of dollars for something that I'm appealing that should be free, right? And it clearly is in the interest of justice, right? There's clearly a structural, due process error, if you will. There's definitely a lot there. And so we'll see. I'm in Ireland. That's good. Bart Connolly, 6104. I'm in Ireland. Good country. Gotta go. Good luck. John Speedway, too. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Lackluster and Long Island Audit have a phone app which you can click when stopped, and lawyer comes on and deals directly with police. Attorney Shield, I think it's called. Yeah, Attorney Shield. Absolutely. I'll be sure to employ them next time they violate my rights, because I'm going to keep, exercising my right to open burn, to having cooking fires on my property. That's what all of my fires have been, is cooking fires and campfires. And going to keep my pack of hot dogs out ready to go. So like I said, I have a right to utilize my property for therapeutic and recreational purposes. I have more than enough land out here. I'm not harming anybody. I'm not disturbing anybody. And if I am, well, that's a civil matter to begin with. That's certainly not a criminal issue. But like I said, they'll never learn. The city of Wayne clearly has learned nothing. And so, we're going to spoon feed them. We're going to make them admit, like they're little toddlers. We're going to put them in timeout. We're going to make them admit, hey, did you eat all the chocolate did you eat all the cookies out of the cookie jar? Did you eat all the chocolate chip cookies? And with all the chocolate chip over their face, they're going to say no. And then we're going to have to show them the mirror. We're going to have to show them the mirror, and we're going to have to go, hey, you guys see all that chocolate all over your face? So you did eat the cookies, right? And then we're going to have to get them to admit like they're a fucking child, because that's not what they are. They're full-grown adults. They know exactly what they're doing. And they've been doing this for decades, right? They've been doing this. Definitely, it's been proven since the 2008 Independent Workplace Assessment, the retaliatory workplace, where the city of Wayne taxpayers spent approximately $122,000 to have an independent workplace assessment done by a qualified psychologist. And he determined that there was a rampant, widespread retaliatory workplace culture. So, and, of course, everyone wanted to blame the city manager at the time, Lisa Nocerini. And, that was the promise, right? We fire Lisa, that's going to take care of the problem. No, the problem is the council. The problem is John Racy. The problem is, like I said, it's bums by committee. It's cucks by committee, right? These committee cucks think that they have some real authoritative power over people. And they do at the local court level, right? Because the local court, the 29th District Court's kangaroo court. And, Judge Rita O'Leary, she's a piece of shit. Nothing honorable about her. And, like I said, they need to enforce feelings, not rights. Or they need to enforce, that's the only thing they know how to do. They enforce feelings. Well, somebody called me a name. Oh, he said the city clerk, Tina Parnell's got resting bitch face syndrome. He says Lori Goins smelled a fart. Well, hey, you want to be in public office, then you got to take the criticism. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. You don't get to have your cake and eat it too. You don't get to say, well, I'm a public servant, but you can't criticize me and you can't talk shit about me and you can't make sharp attacks against me, because then that's harassment or intimidation. No, that's not how it works, pieces of shit. You signed up for it, so get used to it, bitch. And get used to it, because you're going to get a lot more of it, you pieces of shit. And I know you're fucking watching. And if Grimbrowski's watching, you can fucking piss off. You're a piece of shit. You're a disabled veteran killer. Don't you ever step foot on my property again. You hear me, motherfucker? You hear me, motherfucker? Jared Grimbrowski, Officer Grimbrowski. You fucking hear me, you piece of shit? Yeah, go fuck yourself. Drop dead. And of course, I wouldn't wish harm on anybody. But I am allowed to pray to God that, God takes care of you. And I hope you get a terminal fucking illness, you sadistic piece of shit. And don't you ever step foot on my fucking property again. You're a fucking piece of shit, Grimbrowski. You're the biggest piece of shit in the city of Wayne Police Department. And that's saying something. Because I got to say, at least 90% of you are pieces of shit. Maybe not the new people that have just got hired that don't really know what's going on, right? But the majority of the leadership, pieces of shit. Pieces of shit. And they know it. My girl be giggling at the shit you're sending her, bro. Not cool. I don't know what that means. They need to enforce. It's their football, and if you're doing it, play by their rules, then they are not letting anyone play. Yeah, they take their football and go home, right? Guess what rose downhill? Well, of course, right? That's the whole strategy, right? Is to try to absolve the decision makers, the policy makers, and to try to pin it on some low-ranking, police officer or fireman. That's the goal, right? That's the goal of the city of Wayne, right? They're going to act like, well, we don't know nothing. Well, why is it posted on your city website if you don't know nothing? So like I said, their only defense is just complete incompetence or retaliatory, malicious, vindictive behavior. And of course, they're going to try to argue their way out of it, but there is no arguing your way out of this one. It's clear and point blank. It's a violation of the 4th and 14th Amendments, and it's disgusting. And there's nothing reasonable about it. There's nothing reasonable about breaking into someone's house without consent, without a warrant, and without emergency to enforce a law that doesn't exist. I mean, that is like beyond the chief evil of the Fourth Amendment, right? And the 14th Amendment as well. Because if there's no law to enforce, well, then there's no law to be aware of, which means there's no due process to know what conduct is acceptable and which conduct is not, right? So you're just left with this guessing game, right? And of course, you're allowed in the state of Michigan to open burn on your private property. And if somebody doesn't like it, well, they can fuck off. They can file a civil rights lawsuit, and then they can prove to a real court that there was concrete objective damages that were the direct result of your open burning. And of course, the courts have never upheld that because it's complete witchcraft crock of shit. And so, like I said, the city of Wayne they have so much animus towards me, and they dislike me so much that they can't help themselves, right? They were looking for any reason that they could, any pretext that they could to enter my property and to fuck with me. And, come to find out they don't even have a codified ordinance. So way to go, guys. Way to go with your incompetence. I appreciate it. I encourage you guys to continue to commit more civil rights violations so we can make the lawsuits more stronger and, more lawsuits, right? Because that's what we do. When you come on property without warrants and you violate people's rights, we sue you. Yep. And we sue you early and we sue you often. So I hope you guys enjoyed the 93 days you kept me in jail. And I hope you guys are enjoying this illegal probation that you imposed on me, because your time's running out. Your time is running out. And once we get it declared on the record by a real court that what you did was unconstitutional and illegal, well, then we're going to get everything nullified. And then we're going to have the real civil rights lawsuit, the real 1983. Right now, this is just training wheels. This is just a warm-up, because this is really this is all that we don't have all the rest of the information to file our big lawsuits right now. But this one is the cleanest. This one is the simplest to rule on for the judge. And, like I said, we're going to take it to the tyrants. So tyrants get to finally get served with some redress. Absolutely. Keep your powder dry and don't discuss your strategy. Well, that's the thing, right, guys? The strategy is pretty obvious, and the violation's even more obvious. And so I kind of like to take the Larry Bird approach, right? I like to tell you exactly what I'm going to do to you. I like to whisper in your ear during the timeout. I like to say, hey, I'm going to go take the ball, and I'm going to go catch it in that corner, and then I'm going to shoot it in your face and swish it, and then I'm going to win the game. And I don't know. I like that mentality, because I think what it does is it flusters your opponent more, and then they're more prone to making a mistake. Have you any actual question based on law to exist? Tony Pipson. I'm not sure who that is. Have you any actual questions based on law to ask? Oh, I got a lot of questions. I want to ask, what's the ordinance number? Right, that's the first question I have. What's this ordinance number, this open burn policy? What's the ordinance number? That's the first question. And then it just all the shit just balls up into a snowball from there. But yeah, we have lots of questions we're going to be asking them. We're not going to be asking them what question. We're not going to be, displaying what questions we're going to be fucking. Tommy Pitson is spamming expletives, not any real comments. Oh, I haven't seen him. He must be getting blocked. Yeah, I haven't seen I haven't seen anything from him. My filter must be filtering it out. Oh, I see him now. I bet they played like a effing puppet. Don't know. Click on live, not top comments. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, okay, here's some faggot. Toby Pipson. Do you still drink cum? You loved your anus being probed. Wow. Some clearly homosexual, erotic stuff. So we're gonna put this guy in timeout permanently. I'm gonna put this guy in timeout. He can go take his degeneracy somewhere else. Thank you for letting me know, Bart. Appreciate that. Yep. That's what we do to cucks. We don't entertain cuckery. We just delete them and continue on about our day. Yeah, Toby. Oh, yeah. A lot of people really attracted to me, right? It's the blue eyes, right? The blue eyes gets them every time. So, sorry, Toby. I'm just not that into you, bro. I like vagina. Sorry, that's just my preference, buddy. I'm sorry about that. But hopefully you find somebody, Toby, that you're looking for. I'm sure you'll find the black man that you're looking for. I'm sure you'll find him. There's somebody out there for everybody, right? So, hope you find him, Toby. Hope you find your young bull, the young bull that you're looking for, Cuck. Hope you find him. My New Year's resolution is to achieve your hairline. Yeah, I don't know about that. It's still got some work to do. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't wish no ill will on Toby. I just hope he finds his lover that he's looking for. He's clearly looking for black men. And I hope he finds his lover that he's looking for. You know? I mean, different strokes for different folks, I guess. But, yeah, I think that's about it for me tonight, guys. Might hop on a little bit later. Yeah, pray for Toby. Let's give a moment of silence for Toby. He's clearly going through some things and is clearly confused about his lifestyle choices that he chooses to engage in. So I hope that he finds, like I said, I hope he finds the lover that he's looking for, and I hope God can hopefully set him straight, but if not, hopefully he finds the light eventually. So let's give a prayer for Toby here, a moment of silence. And now we are back. Yeah, rest in peace, Toby. Yeah, rest in peace, buddy. He's in a better place now, guys, away from us. So that's a good thing. But end all immunity, absolutely, I agree. Absolutely, I agree. God bless and Happy New Year. Yes, Happy Christmas, Happy New Year. Jesus loves you. Even if you don't love him, he still loves you. So thanks again, guys, for the support, the continued support. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend, tell some men, right? Let's get this channel over 1,000 subs. And again, thank you. We'll try to make you proud. I know that's a tall order because you guys demand excellence, but I hope and pray I can give you some of that. So thanks again, guys, for tuning in, and we will talk next time. And don't get Charlie Kirk. Don't get John Zooked, right? Watch your six, and everything should be all right. So talk to you guys next time.